My name is Christy Howe, and I'm the 2019 Burroughs Wellcome Fund Southeast Region Teacher of the Year for the state of North Carolina. And I'm super excited to be here with you today as we explore an episode of Toy Time, teaching on your time. Today, we're going to think like an inventor. We're going to use our imagination to see ordinary things in extraordinary ways. Now, before we begin, let me tell you just a little bit about me and some of the things that you might need for this lesson. Again, my name's Mrs. Howe, and I teach in Wilmington, North Carolina, down here in the southeast part of the state. I am super lucky to be a teacher at Bradley Creek Elementary School, Go Dynamic Dolphins, and be a part of New Hanover County Schools. Today, for the lesson, you may want the following supplies, although I'll show you how to do the lesson with little to no supplies at all. So these are all optional. You may need a piece of paper, pencil, crayons and markers if you like, glue stick and scissors, and I'll be using a magazine at one point. I'm going to pause here so that you can get to the supplies you need, and then we'll meet back here so that we can use our imagination to see ordinary things in a whole new way. Let's get started. I want to introduce you to my friend, Isabel the Inventor. Before we talk about her and the special way that she thinks, I want to give a shout out to my friends at Pieces of Learning for allowing me to use her image with you today. Isabel is an inventor, which means that she uses her imagination to see ordinary things in new and exciting ways. She has a special pair of glasses that she uses called Brainfocals, and I brought a pair of Brainfocals with me today. Brainfocals can help us see ordinary items in new, reimagined ways. I brought a regular old ruler with me today, but when I look through my Brainfocals, I can imagine that really it's a guitar, or a microphone, or a back scratcher. But we don't have to have Brainfocals in order to reimagine what's possible. We can use our imagination, and we're going to use our imagination today to see ordinary things in new ways. I have a couple different activities to share with you today. We're going to begin by reading a book, one of my favorites, called Duck Rabbit. Go ahead and get comfortable. I'm going to settle in too, and then we'll read together. Friends, it is time for us to think like an inventor, and we're going to begin by doing that by reading a book called Duck Rabbit. Duck Rabbit is all about seeing ordinary things in new ways, using your imagination to see what's possible. I'm excited to share this book with you. Duck Rabbit. It is written by Amy Krause Rosenthal and Tom Lichtenheld. Hey, look, it's a duck. That's not a duck, that's a rabbit. What do you think? Is it a duck? Give me a thumbs up if you think it's a duck. What about a rabbit? Raise your hand if you think it's a rabbit. Okay, lots of good ideas out there. Are you kidding me? It is totally a duck. It's for sure a rabbit. See, look, there's the bill, like the bill of the duck. What are you talking about? Those are his ears, silly. What do you see? Do you see a duck? Do you see a rabbit? It's a duck, and he's about to eat a piece of bread. No, it's a rabbit, and he's about to eat a carrot. Wait, listen, did you hear that? Quack, quack. I heard duck sounds. That's funny. I distinctly heard rabbit sounds. Oh, look, now the duck is wading through the swamp. No, silly, that's the rabbit hiding in the grass. There, see, it's flying. Flying? It's hopping. Look, the duck is so hot, he's getting a drink of water. No, the rabbit is so hot. He's cooling off his ears. What do you think? Let's check in again. Thumbs up if you think it's a rabbit. Okay, and put your hand on your head if you think it's a duck. Gotcha. All right. If you're not sure, here, you can use my binoculars. Sorry, still looks like a rabbit. Here, ducky, 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 ducky. Oh, come here, you cute little rabbit. Oh, great. You scared him away. I didn't scare him away. You scared him away. You know, maybe you were right. Maybe it was a rabbit. Thing is, now I'm actually thinking it was a duck. Maybe we can use our imagination to see both. Well, anyway, now what do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? Hey, look, it's an anteater. See, it's eating the ants right there. That's not an anteater. That's a Brachiosaurus eating leaves from the trees. What do you think it is? The end, or the end. So what did you think about the book? Did you see a duck? Did you see a rabbit? How about both? This is one of my favorite things about using your imagination, is that there can be more than one right answer. And in fact, believe it or not, creativity is a skill that you can learn. Just like we learn reading or math or counting and adding, we can learn to be more creative. When we use our imagination every day and we practice, we build it just like a muscle, just like when we exercise. So I'm going to introduce a couple activities today that are going to help us build that muscle and build that skill to be more creative. And we're going to be using these tenets of creativity to help us. I'm going to start with a blank piece of paper and a magazine. Again, if you don't have a magazine, that's okay. I'm going to show you how to do this with just paper and pencil as well. You can start by looking through the magazine for pictures of everyday, ordinary items. And here I see a sleeping bag, a tree, a cup. I've already cut some pictures out. So I have grapes, a bag, a mitten, and a shoe. I think I'm going to go with grapes. And the first thing I want you to do as you think about these grapes is to think flexibly. Now, this isn't the kind of flexibility like where you can reach down and touch your toes. This is the kind of flexibility with your brain, where you can see ordinary things in new ways. So I'm going to use my imagination and move the grapes around on the page. Try and think about all the different things that they could be. This is where fluency comes in. This isn't the kind of fluency where you read smoothly. This is the kind of fluency where you come up with lots and lots of different ideas. So I'm going to use my imagination to brainstorm all of the possible things this could be. Perhaps it's a mountain and people are rock climbing up the mountain. Perhaps it's a boat and people are sailing on the boat across the sea. Or maybe it's a water slide, something that kids like to do in the summertime for fun. Or maybe it's a football and people are throwing it on a football field. I want you to try and brainstorm at least 10 ideas. The more you practice and the more ideas you generate, the stronger you build that muscle. Once you have an idea that you really like, I want you to think about originality. Originality is a unique idea or a new idea that you think no one else will have. One thing we do when we think like an inventor is try and come up with a new idea. So I'm going to come up with a new idea that I haven't thought of yet. I think I know what it's going to be. So I'm going to take my glue stick and I'm going to glue my grapes to the page. And And now I'm going to practice using elaboration. Elaboration is the practice of adding details to make your work more interesting and easier to understand. We can use it when we draw, but you also use it when you write stories or papers for school, or even when you solve math problems and you show your detailed work to evidence your thinking. So I'm going to use a marker. Typically I might use a pencil when I first start drawing, but I want you to be able to see from far away. So I'm going to start with a purple marker. And I'm going to start to add details and draw around the picture so that you can start to see what I'm picturing in my mind. So I'm going to start here, and I'm going to draw a circle this way. And as I work, I have to tell you, this is a time I so wish my students were here, because they do this activity way better than I ever could. I know if they were here, they would be doing something super clever and creative. So I've started by making a face. And I'm going to add more details to make this face more and more interesting. This is the hair. And in fact, I would like to add to the hair. So I'm going to continue to add grape hair to my picture in order to add details and make it interesting. Now, if I wasn't on film, I'd be using lots of different colors. Different colors are a great way to elaborate and add details, but in the essence of time, I'm just sticking with my purple marker for right now. I want you to pick out your magazine picture. I want you to glue it down where you think it should go on the page. I want you to think flexibly. What possibly could this ordinary item be? For example, my grapes weren't grapes, they were hair. I want you to think about lots and lots and lots of ideas. The more ideas you brainstorm, the stronger you make that creativity muscle. Then pick an original one that you think nobody else will have, and add details to make it interesting. Then, if you feel comfortable, I encourage you to share it. Sharing our creativity helps to spread and create more creativity. Now, if you don't have a magazine, or you don't want to use a magazine, there are lots of different other things you can do. For example, I often do a game called Letter Love. And on this page, you'll see 6 letters that have been printed out. Again, they don't have to be printed out. You could write them on a piece of paper yourself. And we use our imagination, we think like Isabel the inventor, to turn these ordinary letters into something extraordinary. For our younger kids who are learning their letter names and letter sounds, I often associate the letter with a picture that begins with the same name. So B for bumblebee or bear, and they might draw something that goes along with it in that way. F for frog or feather. If you don't want to do letters, I also love to do squiggle stories. And you may be able to see the small squiggle that's on this page. Again, it doesn't have to be something fancy or something that's printed out. In fact, I'm going to take a brand new piece of paper and I'm just going to make a squiggle. This is the spark for your imagination. You're going to use your imagination to think about what this ordinary, everyday squiggle might be. And then you're going to draw all around it to help us visualize what's going on in your amazing imagination. The next step for these activities is to add to it with writing. In fact, at the bottom of this squiggle story, there are even spaces to write. And your writing could be whatever you'd like it to be. It could describe your picture in greater detail and give us more insight into what's going on. Or you might want to create a totally original story about that picture. For example, this is Mrs. Myrtle. And Mrs. Myrtle was headed to the store. Mrs. Myrtle can't shop at the grocery store because people, for some reason, like to buy her hair when she goes there. Again, I so wish my students were here. They would come up with such a clever story. My friends, I am missing you and I'm thinking about you. So you will go ahead and you'll add your story. You will again come up with lots of different ideas, see your picture in a whole new way, and add details to make your writing interesting. Thanks for tuning in to my first episode of Toy Time, Teaching on Your Own Time. I hope you enjoyed meeting my friend, Isabel the Inventor, and using your imagination to see ordinary things in new ways. And I hope you'll tune back in as I explore more ways for us to continue with online learning. In fact, I'd love to hear from you. You can send me a message or leave a note in the comments box. What's something that you might like to learn about or explore in the coming weeks? I hope we can continue to learn together. I hope everyone stays well. Remember to be curious and stretch that imagination muscle. And to my Bradley Creek Dolphins, I miss each of you with all my heart, and I cannot wait to see you soon.